Here we go. Hopefully, this is when I didn't lie the last time. Hopefully, this is the last uh, video for 1.4. Um, on this page, I wanted to go over this formula because this formula is a big fat hairy deal. Um, it, uh, it's the sum of cubes, but truthfully, it's also basically the same formula for the difference of cubes. Because if there was a minus here, then this would be a minus and that would be a plus, but everything else would be exactly the same. So you would have an A minus B, A squared, and writing with a mouse is hard. And my handwriting is pretty bad anyways. So writing with a mouse makes it a little bit worse, so I apologize. So basically, they're the same formulas. Now, when you do this, remember, I want you to do A equals, B equals, A squared, AB, and then B squared. Fill out those 5 pieces because that's exactly what these 5 pieces are right here. And then you just fill in the formula. Remember, A is the cube root of the first, B is the cube root of the second, and then you just follow what these last 3 pieces show. Now, of page next, the first 2 of these, I just want to start it out. All right? So the cube root of the first is A. And on your perfect cube numbers, that gives us 5. And then the cube root of the second, which is B, gives us an X. Now, the big fat hairy deal about this next one is there's a minus, but it's not your first, it's your first piece and not in the middle. So what you've got to do is switch order. So what you get is 125 and bring that minus with then when you do your cube roots, you get 5 here and you get 3u here. Notice I'm shortcutting. I'm not showing that I'm doing this to it. I just showed this, A equals and B equals, because I did it in my head. But I do want to show AB. And I want to show B squared. So 5 times 3u would be 15u. And then B squared Remember, when you square something, you take it times itself. So 3u times 3u, so 3 times 3 gives us 9, and u times u gives us u squared. So that kind of gives you a little bit of help in working those two. Now, factoring for terms, the first thing you always, and forever do is a GCF. Well, 3, 15, 9, and 21 all have the GCF of 3. And since 21 doesn't have an X, I can't pull an X out. Now, I do have a typo. That should be cubed here. I fixed it on the next one, but I didn't fix it on this first one. Now, always put your GCF out front, and that gives us x cubed plus 5x squared. And notice I didn't leave enough space. Minus 3x. I put a 9. And if you were in class and caught it, you would have gotten 2 points. And then plus 7. Now notice 5 and 7 don't have anything in common. All you can do is a GCF here. Well, guess what? I can do a GCF here as well. So pull that 3 out again. You get x cubed minus 5x squared plus x minus 5. I shortcut it a little bit. Now, 5 and 5, a 1x and a 1x. So I can factor by grouping. The rules for factoring by grouping: group the first two, group the last two. Pull the GCF of each set. Ooh, I don't see a GCF. Well, if it doesn't have a GCF, the GCF is 1. So, the next rule is, and remember, bring your GCF overall down. Then your first butt print is the GCFs of the first step. Now, the GCF of the second set is the second butt print. Stuff divided by 1 is stuff. And that is your answer. If you've got questions, just ask. Now, in the YouTube videos, the Chinese guy, His video is the one to watch on this. It is absolutely the best video. What you do is, this is not 1. So pull it over here. And we're going to times that 5 by 3. So that becomes p squared minus 2p minus 15. Now, I look at all of the ways I can multiply to get 15. Now, I wrote negative, but that's okay. I wrote negative because it reminds me that I've got to subtract. Okay, so 1 times 15, 3 times 5, and that's the only 2 ways I can get 15. Which set will subtract to give me a 2? We'll take care of the sign of it using the formula. Well, that would be these. And remember, the formula is x, and that's a minus in the middle. So this is type 4. So minus big and x plus small. Now I know we don't have x's. This problem is peeing. So we have to use p. So p minus the big factor. And plus the small factor. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, but 3 minus 5 is our negative 2. How cool is that? Now, the problem is we multiplied by 3. So since we multiplied by 3 in that step, we have to divide by 3 here. And then we simplify. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Well, 5 divided by 3 doesn't clean up, so I have to pull that 3 out in front of p. I love this rule. 3p times p is 3p squared. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. I love this rule. And this process. So, number next. Move that one over. So, times 2 makes that minus 18. So my factors of negative 18 that will subtract to give me a 3. So 1 times 18 and 2 times 9 and 3 times 6. Well, that one will subtract to give me the 3. Now this is x plus the big, because this is type 3, and x minus the small. So plus the big minus the small. And remember, oh shoot. Yep, I was about to let you forget something. We had 2 times by 2 to here. So we've got to divide by 2 here. This one comes out to here, and that will clean up. So this is n plus 3. I just about forgot a step because I was trying to think of something else. And you know, with ADD, you can't think of 2 things at once. If you go to y equals, put this into y1, this into y2, and then hit, and let me type this because it'll be a whole lot easier to type. Hit second graph and look at y1 and y2 lists. If they are not the same, then your answer is not correct. But if they are the same, your answer is correct. How cool is that? Just saying. Now, so I've done a couple of these already, so I'm not going to do these 2. I will say this is type 1, so this one is n plus the big, n plus the small. And this one is type 2, so this one would be n minus the big and n minus the small, because it's type 2. Now, if you need help with the factors, go to y equals, and in y1, 5 times 12 is 60, so you're going to put 60 divided by x. And then you're going to do second graph, start at x equals 1. This will help you find all of your factors in order. Okay, now we're starting with the ones that look exactly like your homework. All right, so this one is just GCF. 3 and 9, both have 3 in common. X cubed and X both have X.